Congrats, you made it. It is Friday,
Definitely
end
Friday.
of the work week, and we are ending with some really nice weather.
Yes. 80 degrees on the temperature gauge right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can see in the
Actually,
top right.
81, Derek.
Oh.
Leave the weather to me,
Okay,
please.
well, there you go. It's getting spicy.
I'm
right
going
out
by
of the gate.
what's literally right up here.
All right. Well, if you haven't tuned out already, thank you so much for watching Queen City News Plus Live. I am Morgan Francis, joined by anchor Derek Dullinger, Austin McCullum, who's behind the wheel, and of course, meteorologist Andrew Brightman, who will give us our full forecast in just a little bit. Derek, a lot going on today, starting with a huge Supreme Court decision that they struck down essentially the bulk of Trump's sweeping tariffs.
Yes, this wound up being a 6-3 decision with conservative justice going with the liberal justices on this, and they say they essentially found it unconstitutional for a president to unilaterally set tariffs, which sets back a good portion of the tariffs. They basically say the executive branch, i.e. the president, cannot set that. That is actually express power from Congress. However, we should note, the president is not taking this well.
No, I mean he said he's ashamed of certain members of the court. Keep in mind this is a court that usually rules conservatively,
And some of them were nominated by him.
and a number of them were nominated by him. He turned right around and announced the additional 10% global tariff for a 5-month period. So here's how this is all playing out. So he initially went off of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act for the tariffs, which allow a president to regulate imports when necessary to respond to national emergencies. But there are a number of other laws that basically he could use to kind of bring back some of these tariffs. One of them, which is the one that he's going with right now, is the Trade Act of 1974. It allows temporary import surcharges up to 15%. So this 10% is underneath that threshold. And it can only last for like 150 days. So if he wants these tariffs to be long lasting, he'll have to figure out another way to make them happen. But he's not wasting any time.
And speaking of the other ways to make it happen, there is some talking that's happening right now, at least in Washington. House Speaker Mike Johnson says they are working on a path forward on tariffs. And we should mention that Republicans, at least Republicans in Congress, they did welcome the decision from the Supreme Court. At least some of them did, but they say that they are not opposed to actual tariffs if they go through Congress. Those same tariffs, at least.
Right, and that was kind of the
kind of
sticking
procedural.
point this
Yes.
whole time
Yeah.
is they felt like Trump just went over their heads on this decision. There are a lot of question marks still that remain with this. So the U.S. has brought in $289 billion in now invalidated tariffs. So what happens with all of those? We know that there were a number of companies. Costco is the big name that filed some lawsuits so that they would be eligible to potentially get a refund of those tariffs because it's now ruled that they weren't supposed to be charged in the first place. That's a big question. Smaller, lower down on the priority list is, Trump had announced that Americans were going to get a $2,000 tariff rebate check. Obviously, if
that's
all
been
of
talked about for months.
yeah, and obviously that wasn't set in stone, but that's probably not going to be something that Americans are going to get anymore because this money is now up in limbo.
Yeah, the big story the big headline the big quote at least that came from Chief Justice John Roberts: the framers did not vest any part of taxing imports in the executive branch. However, again, we should note here that President Trump is going forward with some other tariffs using some of the other laws. But of course, there's a question as to whether or not those laws will also be challenged.
Right,
in
I'm
Supreme
sure
Court
it will be challenged, moving over to the Middle East. So the U.S. continues to use sanctions and military buildup to pressure Iran into some sort of deal with their nuclear program. Trump this morning said that he is now considering a limited strike. There is a consensus though that any type of a strike would kill any sort of negotiations that are going on with Iran.
Yes, Iran and the U.S., they are in talks right now over Iran's nuclear program. This has kind of been a sticking point for years, and especially during the Trump administrations that regarding Iran's dealing essentially with nuclear technology, which they say is mainly being used for nuclear power. Of course, there are fears that it could be used potentially for nuclear weapons. Now, the strike, the limited strike on Iran, this has already gotten some back and forth because Iran has already been doing these some of the practice exercises.
Yeah, some military drills
with Russia. And they also have this open threat, basically, to the U.S. that if the U.S. does decide to have strikes, that they will retaliate in to maximum form, at least in their words.
Right, and they've been, as you mentioned, they've been pushing the envelope for years. They want to keep things like their uranium enrichment, which the U.S. is concerned, as you mentioned, that that could lead to a bomb. So Trump, just a few days ago, said that a strike could be within the next 10 days or as early as this weekend. So this is definitely something that in the next couple of days we will be watching very closely.
Yes. Let's head here a little bit more locally to the Mecklenburg County courthouse, where there was, a bit more, as you can see there, a fight that happened yesterday. This happened yesterday morning at court, just outside one of the courthouses you can see there, or what courtrooms. This revolved around the case of a 16-year-old that was killed back in May. The suspect in that case was in court yesterday, was arrested on Wednesday. His name is Marion McKnight, but in court yesterday, authorities say someone attacked McKnight. His name is Shaheem Snipe, and according to the court documents, he beat this guy bloody. And the suspect in the murder case wound up having to be taken to the hospital.
Right, and we have confirmed that this is actually the father of a 16-year-old who
of that 16-year-old
of Marion McKnight is accused of killing. Along with allegedly injuring 2 others in a shooting last May. So this is the father of someone who was killed in a shooting, confronting his alleged killer right outside the courtroom there. He punched McKnight several times in the face and the chest. You can see was holding him down on the ground at one point. And other people had to come in and break up the fight. But obviously, Snipe now facing charges as well.
Snipe was charged with misdemeanor assault. He has since bonded out of jail. At least in circumstances like this, I mean, we know that this can be an emotional situation, especially anything involving a suspect, anything and accused of a crime like this, in meeting up with or seeing family member.
Emotions
have
been building for a while,
for nearly a year. In fact, so
disturbing news out of Concord. So there was a daycare worker who was arrested for allegedly hot gluing a 3-year-old to their seat, and the 3-year-old had burns as a result that the daycare worker then did not report. So that delayed the child from getting medical treatment. Obviously, this daycare worker was arrested and charged.
Yes, this incident itself happened back in September, right at the end of September, in fact. The daycare worker you see right there, her name is LaShonda Williams, and she admitted in court, she pled guilty to misdemeanor child abuse as part of a plea agreement. She admitted that she hot glued a 3-year-old to her seat because the 3-year-old did not move, did not sit still. She didn't want her to move. That 3-year-old wound up having burns on her thighs as a result of that, and didn't report it. Not only that, and once the parents noticed this, they went directly not only to the daycare, but the daycare fired LaShonda Williams, and she was a daycare teacher, by the way, at Concord Academy, and which they fired her essentially right after it happened. So it's a lot of details in this, and it's also pretty disturbing as well, because I think it led to questions as to exactly how she was, what her previous experience was.
How something like this happens. I mean, I know that this was a Christian private school, and I don't know what the ratios were at that school, but the state usually mandates certain ratios of teacher to child.
Yes.
And a lot of times there are 2 of them in the classroom. So the fact that this happened is disturbing. She was sentenced to 10 days in prison and 6 months of community service.
Yes, and this was part of a plea agreement. She was facing some other charges. Yeah, she was facing a number of other charges, but she did plead guilty as part of a plea agreement in this case. I do have some weather to tell you about this morning in case, well, at least what we saw this morning, if we want to be a little bit more specific about that, because a little bit earlier this morning, it got wet. Yeah, before we got
pouring.
Some of that really good
car
weather.
Wash.
Yeah, this is video from out of the UNC Charlotte area. As you can see, it was coming down quite a bit earlier today.
Yeah. I mean, should we bring in the meteorologist
let's
to talk about it?
Let's do that, yes. Because
let's bring in meteorologist Andrew Brightman. Andrew, it got really sunny out after, though.
Yes, and this is kind of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's been a spectacular since that line of showers they came through. That's actually the leading edge of the front. It's ironic because it's actually warmer today, but that was the leading edge of the cold front moving in here. But record highs, we're already at records right now. around 80, 81 degrees currently. We've got record highs, as I was saying today. Showers moving in, though, overnight through your Saturday. Might even see a little bit of wet weather here on Sunday. Could see some snow in the mountains, then turning much, much cooler as we go into next week here across the Carolinas. We've got some big changes on the way. Right now, 81 degrees currently in the QC, light and variable winds. Notice the dew points are starting to crash. That's kind of giving you an idea of what's going on here in terms of the drier conditions, eventually the cooler weather moving in. I mean, can you think of a time when we got 81 degrees, Derek, and dew points down in the low 40s? Spectacular.
And especially like this early in the year. That's another thing altogether.
I mean, usually this far south, when we got temperatures that warm, it's humid, it's kind of a little yucky outside. I'm going to go for a run when I get home from work today. I am probably going to see a ton of people on the Greenway right now across the region here in around Charlotte because of how nice this weather is. Also, we've got the incredible weather up in King Street in Boone right now with the sunshine currently. Pinpoint satellite, it's nothing but clear skies. It's unbelievable, actually, outside right now across the Carolinas. But we got a little weather whiplash on the way over the next few days here. Front moving through. Eventually, we'll start to cool off. Temperatures elsewhere here across the Carolinas. Charlotte is the warm spot. We got a few other towns and localities here in the lower 80s currently. Cool spot is Jefferson at 58. That's where the cool air is just starting to move in right now. As we go through the next 12 hours, temperatures hovering around the 80-degree mark. We're staying warm. Time to do a little barbecuing outside, guys, with this weather tonight here. Enjoy it because we have got some big changes on the way. I'm talking more about that coming up with my full pinpoint forecast in just a few minutes.
Steaks, burgers, or ribs?
Dude, steak. You know,
maybe
I could
some
go for
shrimp
a burger.
on the bobby.
I could. That was good. I gotta give you credit for that. I would actually go for some burgers right now.
Okay, noted. Let's see. So, we have a show here on Queen City News Plus. Actually, it's rather popular here called We Are Not Alone. And we've been, frankly, it goes into some of the discussion about extraterrestrial life. And there's been some news on that, actually, as of late.
Coming from the top.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And we could be getting a lot more information about it, at least according to what's out there. That more coming up next. This is Queen City News Plus Live. It is about 3:15. This is Queen City News Plus Live as we take a live look out at Independence Boulevard where the traffic is going smoothly, at least for now. Of course, probably in the next 30 minutes or so. That will definitely change because a lot of people will be heading out of town for the weekend. We'll have your forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes with meteorologist Andrew Brightman. There is some sad news that's out of Hollywood. Actor Eric Dane. We got news last night that he had died. He had been battling ALS. He's 53 years old. You might remember him from his roles on Grey's Anatomy and also Euphoria, as well as a number of other things that are out
Well,
there.
he was some of his first shows were Saved by the Bell and the Wonder Years. I mean, it wasn't like a main role, but that was kind of the start of his career. And then, of course, it really took off with Grey's Anatomy, where he was McSteamy, right?
There you go. He was McSteamy, Dr. Sloan.
I always confuse McDreamy and McSteamy.
McDreamy was Patrick Dempsey. McSteamy was Eric Dane. And he went from that role that was on Grey's Anatomy. I remember seeing he was very good on that show, but Euphoria. With different type of character.
Euphoria.
It is a very good show. It's a very intense show, and he was a very bad guy on that show.
Oh, okay.
Right. And he played very bad. He
was Jacob Elordi's dad in the show, right?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And there were a lot of bad things that were done. On that show, but he played it so well. I mean, and that's part of the reason why it's just critically acclaimed. Now, once he was diagnosed, he had been diagnosed for some time, but he made the official announcement just
not even a year ago.
Yeah. And there were all these interviews, and then there was all this paparazzi, some of the paparazzi photos of him in a wheelchair, and how he was trying to recover. But unfortunately,
he was kind of advocating for more access to treatment for ALS to lawmakers in Washington, D.C. And who didn't even, from coming public with ALS to all of a sudden, not even a year later, advocating for more research and expanded access for treatments is doing so much in such a short amount of time. He was, married in 2004.
Yes.
Separated, but never.
Gayheart.
Yes. Never went through with the divorce proceedings for that. But he had such a lot of challenges in his life. He was dealt with addiction to drugs and alcohol. He battled depression at some point. But such a a successful actor and successful in life. He had, 2 daughters as well, who were the center of his world.
Yes, I think he was one of those actors you never really heard a bad thing about him. You heard how good he was, but you never really heard anything that, as far as like
if it was private.
Like, yes.
Right.
And there's a new thing that hit Netflix today. They have a show called Famous Last Words, where they interview subjects. You don't know who they've interviewed, but they only agree to release the episode posthumously. And they just released one today with Eric Dane, the first episode being Jane Goodall from earlier last year.
Yes.
And I saw a clip today, and he talks about his wife Rebecca, talks about his daughters, his battle with addiction. It is a heartbreaking, at least the clip I saw. But I mean, you really get an insight into these people who go into filming this knowing
that it's going to air after they're gone. Really interesting.
Yeah, and again, dead at the age of 53 after a battle with ALS, and it goes to show how progressive that disease can get for those who have it. Let's talk about the Olympics real quick. Yes, because let's see, the Olympics do officially end on Sunday, but one of the big events that still has yet to be decided, hockey.
USA.
USA.
Yes. Yes. Men's U.S. team, they are playing against Slovakia today, and if they win, they'll be facing.
They're up 1-0.
Okay, there we go.
Slovakia, let's go.
Yeah, they'll be facing either Finland or Canada.
They're going to face Canada.
And
I watched that game today. Insane.
Were you working?
So this is going to be U.S. Canada.
It's going to be similar, hopefully, to what we saw with the women's hockey final yesterday.
Yeah, impressive.
USA versus Canada.
Take the hero cam real quick. Let's get in this discussion real quick.
I got the button around here somewhere.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, as far as that is concerned, it's like, I mean, granted, there's probably a lot of extra interest on hockey in general this year anyway, but I mean, just gonna say
I'm with you.
But also on that same point though, it's like this is gonna be a good game,
and it's the final event
if
of
US
the
wins.
Olympics. Yes, if US can't talk today. USA beats Slovakia. I mean, we're gonna head into this kind of big North American showdown.
It would be nice to see a last push by US on the medal count, because I think we're down. I mean, Norway has 33, but Italy has 26, and U.S. has 24.
Norway, it's insane how good they are. It's 6 million people, and they just dominate the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Did you guys see Alyssa Liu
Love her.
do the free skate?
Amazing.
I mean, she was skating around like she didn't have a care in the world. It was, and then at the very end did this hair flip, like
she's a doll. I love her.
Yeah,
But she had an incredible performance. Her and Amber Glenn both on that U.S. figure
skating
skating
team. She retired 2 years ago.
Well, because she came back on her own terms. People were trying to tell her, what to do, and basically this image that they wanted, and she came back and she's like, no, I'm going to do it my way, and she won gold. Really, really impressive.
Yes, and again, the Olympics themselves, closing ceremonies do happen on Sunday, but again, we'll figure out what's exactly is going to be happening with hockey. But again,
I'll keep you updated.
Hockey, we'll be keeping you updated. Will we have an update in the next 10 minutes or so? Who knows?
See.
Okay, we might. Let's talk about UFOs real quick. Yes, UFOs. So this kind of became a thing this week because President Obama, in a podcast interview, he was asked very directly about the existence of aliens and extraterrestrial life, and he pretty much said, "It's like,
well, we have the sound bites, right?
I have that and President Trump.
Okay, let's run Obama and then the Trump response.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
The aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake.
It's just great.
So there's that. And so since that soundbite that you heard from President Trump, he has said he's directing the Pentagon and other government agencies to identify and release files related to extraterrestrials and UFOs because of, and I quote here, tremendous interest. Of course, there's been tremendous interest for
a very long time, right?
Yes.
This is nothing new.
Well, more
in
than
fact,
decades.
May Kay has her show on Queen City News Plus that's We Are Not Alone, that is extremely popular. There's obviously an interest in this, and people would love to learn more.
So if you want to watch that new episode, if you're on our app right now, you can just navigate to Originals. You'll see that there. It's also on our Queen City News YouTube page. I believe it's Are Aliens Real? You'll see May Kay there. We talk with two experts, one Dan Harari, who is the chairman, co-founder of the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, one of the largest UAP kind of phenomena groups in the country besides MUFON. We also talk with Stephen Bassett. He was the first registered UFO lobbyist in the country dating back to the 90s. So again, it is an incredible episode. We kind of get their insights on those two quotes, plus Laura Trump talking at another podcast over the weekend saying, I think my father-in-law has a speech ready to talk about Disclosure Day. That's kind of the big thing a lot of people who are interested in this are looking for. So it's very exciting. So you have to go check it out.
They're talking about an actual speech, not the movie Disclosure Day.
That we do talk about the Spielberg movie Disclosure Day as well.
You know what I think? I think they're going to wait for a day that they could use a really good distraction.
Yes,
and then they'll do all this this release.
And there's a good chance in the next little bit, once this becomes a thing, you will probably be hearing some terms tossed around. There will be UFOs, again, unidentified flying objects, but one of the other newer monikers is UAP, which is unidentified aerial phenomenon.
What you saw on your screen was Obama clarifying his statement, saying statistically the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there, but the distances between our solar systems are so great that the chances we
thousands, millions of light
just
years,
basically that he saw no evidence during his presidency, and then said, really, like he has, just to confirm, really happened.
So he's basically saying it's like,
he's
I don't know for certain, but I do believe.
Yeah.
And frankly, a lot of people believe.
Stirring the pot.
So yes. Let's get a check on your weather. We don't have to worry about any UFO. Well, I'll put it to you this way: if we wanted to see a UFO tonight, we could probably see it pretty clearly, right?
I was going to be like, speaking of out of this world, how about this weather this afternoon?
Oh, there you go.
And now we're at 81.
What are our averages supposed to be, Andrew?
About 59.
Oof.
It's a little toasty.
Yeah.
You know, but our low this morning was around what our average high is for the year.
And here's my thing: it's kind of hard to believe. Just a few weeks ago, we were in the middle of 8 inches of snow. And now it's this.
Yeah, you know, I remember when I was walking in, I was joining you, sitting right where Morgan was. I was in heaven because I love snow, talking about, you know, historical storm. People will probably be talking about that snowstorm 20 years from now, and now we got temperatures in the low 80s. But guess what? Going back to winter here. Go through this weekend, guys.
Oh, so this is fall spring right now.
Fall, very much a fall spring here. It's kind of being a slap after. I just can't get over it. You see the 81. I just look at that dew point of 41. You do not get afternoon. You get maybe 5 to 7 afternoons like this a year here in the Carolinas. We have temperatures this warm, this beautiful, and this low with humidity. So really take advantage of it today. It's just light and variable winds. We'll start to see the cooler air begin to move in tonight, but still just absolutely insane weather this afternoon. Not exactly the best news for the skiers and snowboarders up at Beach Mountain, though we do have a little bit of good news for you in terms of you want a little fresh powder. That'll be on the way here Sunday into Monday.
Austin's shaking his
head. I know. Austin's loving it. You love it. Pinpoint satellite imagery right now. We got mostly clear skies here across the Carolinas. Radar is quiet. We had the showers move through this morning. That is gone. This is part of the cold front. So even though we've got the record highs today, that was the leading edge of some cooler air beginning to move in, and our wind direction is going to start to shift here. But still, 82 in Columbia, 82 in Savannah, 79 in Wilmington, 63 in Virginia Beach right now. Virginia Beach and points off to the north. I could be seeing also a little bit of snow here later on this weekend into early next week. Futurecast shows those scattered showers moving in during the overnight, probably after midnight or so around Charlotte, waking up to a much different Carolinas, about 30, almost 30 degrees cooler than what it is right now. Lots of cloud cover, potential showers continuing off and on throughout the morning. Might see a little bit of clearing during the afternoon. Still going to be above average again tomorrow, but not near record warmth here. And then as we go through the overnight hours, you start to see some more showers moving in. We've got a new area of low pressure that's going to be taking shape, going to be bringing some interesting weather farther off to the north and northern mid-Atlantic states. But for us here in the Carolinas, could see some significant wet weather beginning to move in as we head into your early Sunday morning. And then the colder air really begins to flood in behind it. You see the snow up across the mountains, temperatures down into the upper 20s. Northwesterly flow takes over, gets much, much colder. And notice the afternoon temperatures here on your Sunday. You got some snow showers up in the mountains. And then here in Charlotte, we got temperatures in the mid to upper 40s here. Those big, big changes on the way. And then we're down below freezing and going to have a likely freeze here Monday morning. Still seeing the snow showers up across the mountains. I would not be surprised if we get some winter weather advisories for our mountain counties for Sunday into Monday. Those snow showers potentially continuing throughout the day on Monday and much, much, much colder. Temperatures not even going to get to the 50-degree mark as we kick off next week. So kind of back to reality here. How much rainfall are we talking about? Maybe upwards of half inch or so. We need a lot more than that. Still got the major drought conditions here across the Carolinas. And also watching the blustery winds here on your Sunday. It's going to be a little breezy out there as we get really those colder northwesterly winds to move in. Could see widespread wind gusts here upwards of 25 to 35 miles an hour here across the Carolinas. That's likely going to continue into your Monday. So let's get right on to the meat and potatoes here, the pinpoint 7-day forecast. So obviously we've got the record here today, and then heading into next week, much cooler weather. Much cooler.
What a change.
We're not talking about wintry weather, but it's certainly going to go back down below average again. Probably by the time it gets early next week, advertised about 60 degrees. So a little bit more than 10 degrees below that.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the end of that 7-day forecast.
Yeah,
I
like-
saw back in the 60s. So it looks like it's not.
but I'm looking at Monday. So between Friday and Monday,
Yep.
it's basically going to be a 40-degree change.
That you are correct. That's some great math.
Look
right
at
there.
you doing math and broadcast.
Well, it's almost a 40-degree change.
It's a broadcast joke.
Yeah, 34 degrees.
Carry the one.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
All right, let's not think
I can
too
do
hard.
math.
here.
I had to take 4 semesters of calculus. No, sir.
All right, still ahead. Police in Thailand go to great lengths to go undercover and catch their guy.
This is
Really
good.
interesting
Yeah.
video you have to see. More Queen City News Plus Live when we come back.
So you do not want to mess with the police in Thailand because they will go after you if they need to get you. In fact, there's video to suggest this because there were some Lunar New Year celebrations that were happening. Like they were actually in that dragon costume. They managed to get the guy that they were looking for, who was, and they managed to arrest him because they were all under that dragon costume.
Yeah, really interesting the lengths they went to
Very interesting.
catch their suspect.
Maybe we'll go to that lengths to do this show.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'll have to stay tuned, right?
Okay, we will see you back here on Monday.
Have a good weekend.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.